the Mayo Experience.
Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience Thanksgiving Day live show. We're going to go over the injuries. We're going to go over the games. We're going to go over the DraftKings picks. We're going to go over the rankings. We're going to go over the showdown slates. And then, if we have time, and we will, we'll be taking any question you have as it pertains to the Thursday set of games. I'm not here to answer your Sunday questions. We'll be live on Sunday morning to do that for you, and then we'll have a whole lot more information, and then your Thursday guys will play. Maybe you're down by 500 points in your league, and you got to roll the dice a little bit on someone. Things change, so just enjoy, sit back, avoid your family. Chris Meaney's here with me.
What's up, man? Happy Turkey Day.
Isn't that the key to holidays? Avoiding your family at all costs.
Yeah, I mean, if you can, for sure.
You can.
Yeah.
Here's the key. Move 3,000 miles away.
Yeah, you and I have we've done that.
It's like, sorry, got to work on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah, see you later. Trapped in the basement watching some football. 3 games on today. Set some DK lineups and watch all the points pile up, hopefully.
All right, well, let's get right into this. Let's start with the games. I want to tell everyone, smash that like button. It allows us to continue to come at you on holidays, keep the content free, and come at you live and interact with the people. And when we get to the chat a little bit later on, I'll let you know that I will be banning people for bad questions. People are like all about it now. People want banned for life T-shirts.
So 2 weeks ago, everybody was bummed and they're ticked off at you, and now they just want to be banned. Like they have to be banned.
They're aggressively trying to be banned. So
I'm a fan of it.
Game number 1 on the slate, the one at 12:30 p.m. Eastern time. We got Chicago at the Detroit Lions. The spread in this game has changed again. Opened at 4 with Trubisky, then it dropped to 2.5, which 1.5.
Yeah.
Maybe Vegas doesn't like Mitch Trubisky too much or
Right.
think he's very good. Now it's back at 3. So Detroit is a 3-point dog at home in this game. I want to remind everyone that odds and lines are subject to change. See website for actual odds. If you or anyone you know has a gambling problem and wants some help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. So, who you like? Straight up, just who do you like?
I like Chicago.
I like Chicago too.
Yeah.
I will say that I've played it's more of a fun parlay just because it's Thanksgiving. Let's get some action.
Yeah,
here.
of course.
I took the Bears -3, the Skins +7, and the New Orleans -11.5 as a 3-game parlay. Pays almost like 7 to 1.
So I'm on all of that, but I made my bets pretty early. I jumped on the Falcons when they were 13.5 dogs. So I'm in on that, and it's going to be nerve-wracking all night, especially if I get those first 2, because this Saints offense is just, they can't be stopped. We already know that. I'm just hoping that, Matt Ryan can keep it close. It's a divisional game. I mean, earlier in the year when they played, it was an overtime game. It was pretty close. I think Drew Brees came back in that football game. So it's tough to really have any faith in the Falcons defense at this point. But, Chicago, even though the fact that Chase Daniel is playing and he hasn't started a football game since 2014, this will be his 3rd start ever. 1 touchdown and 1 interception for his career. He may know the system better than Mitch Trubisky. And everybody jokes about Trubisky and how inaccurate he is and some of the mistakes that he makes. I'm just leaning on Chicago and this Bears defense to hold the fort and do enough.
So what we're looking at from the injury front, Chase Daniel is obviously starting. Mitch Trubisky is out. Kerryon Johnson and Marvin Jones are both going to miss the game on the other side of the ball. So let's discuss the Chicago side first. Are you using Chase Daniel in any DraftKings lineup?
Absolutely.
Really?
I have him in one. Like, not a lot of exposure to him, sprinkling him in a couple. Actually, one lineup that allows me to obviously pay big on everybody. Everybody. So I got Thomas in there. I got Zeke in there. I'm going to have Kamara in there and Jordan Reed in there. Like I said, he can just do enough in this offense. Like, I haven't seen him play in forever. I truly do not know what to expect from him. But again, play to Matt Nagy's strengths. Matt Nagy can play to his strengths. Familiar with the system, seen him before in Kansas City. He knows the playbook really well. Let's see what the fuss is all about with this guy who's made more money than any other backup, I think, in the NFL. So he's got some weapons around him, a couple good backs. So what do you want? Like, what is he? $4,800, $4,400,
$4,300, I think.
Yeah, get me 20 points.
If he can get you 20 points, he might be an absolute disaster.
He could very well be an absolute disaster. But I mean, in such a small slate, Pat, like, what are you doing here?
It's true. I mean, I'm not playing Breeze because I'm actually only playing 1 lineup. So I'm going to keep some of this close to the vest. I'll use some of the Saints pieces, but I think I'm going to use. I'm trying to decide between if I want to go with Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
Because I really like Matt Ryan this week because I just think they're going to be chasing the entire time. It's just hard to fit in the other pieces. But if I pay down and use like Dak Prescott.
Dak.
But I'm using Zeke, and I don't think that those two players correlate very well.
Right.
It's like using Chase Daniel and Jordan Howard. Yes, they can both have good games and that can work, but there's no correlation between them. Like, if you're going to use a running back from Chicago and you're playing Chase Daniel, you got to use Cohen.
Yeah, you got to use Cohen. I have Daniel, and I kind of stayed away from everybody else in that Bears offense because, I mean, who knows? Like, Anthony Miller had a really good game 2 weeks ago.
How would you rank them? Because I would go Miller, Robinson, and then
Gabriel,
and then Josh Schmelemy.
Yeah. He's at the
Burton. You probably play.
Yeah, Burton. You can play. I mean, it's really tough for me to get away from Jordan Reed. I know he's really expensive, and the Saints have been good against tight ends recently. And, especially last week against Zach Ertz, and just overall their defense has been a little bit better. So I know Trey Burton has been very frustrating to play into roster, but at the end of the day, he still has 5 touchdowns. There is that notion that these inexperienced quarterbacks will lean on their tight ends just slightly, but I would rank them the same as you. Anthony Miller had a phenomenal game against Detroit a couple weeks ago. Allen Robinson would be second for me, and then Taylor Gabriel. I mean, Gabriel is interesting as well because he's a big play threat. He's very boomer bust, and get the ball to him in open space, see what he can do.
That's the thing.
Those easy completions.
They throw a lot of wide receiver screens to him. But I think that's why, I really like Cohen in this game. I think that he's a perfect fit for Chase Daniel only because the Lions getting snacks. And Sealy pointed this out to me. I wasn't even really because I've been seeing people too. It's like Detroit gives up like 5.1 yards per carry, but since they got Damon Harrison, they're giving up like 3.7 yards per carry. And like
the Giants are struggling to stop the run.
Yeah. So, and like Howard needs to score so many touchdowns, and he's not scoring from length.
No, he's
like
not.
Cohen is like out of all the guys on the Bears side of the ball, I guess Daniels is a slate breaker if he has a great game and spreads the ball around, or he has the one guy that he focuses on. I would imagine it would be Trey Burton.
Yeah,
it's gonna be, but it could be like Adam Shaheen's back.
It could be guys that he's used
more
to
familiar with. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like that. Like Bellamy becomes someone that I guarantee you Chase Daniels practice a lot with.
Absolutely.
Like, Josh Bellamy, I feel like he's been on that team for 10 years.
Yeah, he may be, and because he's probably thrown 0 passes to Allen Robinson this year.
Yeah,
there's a good chance in practice that he hasn't thrown the ball to Allen Robinson at all this year. Yeah, I'm with you with Cohen. I want to use Howard, and it's just so tough.
I don't. I just want to use Cohen.
And when I say I want to use him, it's because be a little
passes,
bit different.
If Detroit actually has pretty decent pressure, so if they get at Chase Daniels, he's not mobile like Trubisky is, so he can dump the ball off. Will you pay up for the Chicago defense? Because they're going to be like 50% owned in that wishbone. Yeah,
they will be, and I paid up for them in one spot where it just worked out. I think they're the best defense on the board.
They are the best defense on the board.
Yeah,
but
and
at 50% in a giant tournament.
But
I will take the chance that they don't score 20 points.
I mean, no defense. There might not be a defense this week that scores 20 points.
But that's the thing. If that's the case, then
don't play them and spend down elsewhere. Sure. I'll stay away from the Saints and the Falcons defense. Obviously, I don't want a piece of any of them. I kind of like the Saints, Steve. They're cheap and you could plug them in, but
they're exactly what you want to see in this type of game, like this type of slate. Like who is
a team throwing?
Who is going to face the most pass attempts on the slate? It's the Saints.
It's the Saints.
So they're going to have the most opportunity for sacks, for interceptions, for return touchdowns.
Yeah, and like I said, they've been playing a lot better. I agree with you with Cohen. It's so hard to trust how, even a couple weeks ago, he played this exact same defense. And I thought to myself, okay, like you said, Detroit allowing over 5 yards per carry. Maybe this guy's going to get the ball 20 times. Maybe they get in the red zone and he finds the red zone, or the end zone, but there's no way to feel comfortable with him. So I'm with you with Cohen. But I will play the Bears D, man. They dial up pressure, not sold on Stafford, miss and carry on. Probably not going to be able to run. They stop the run really well, and there's only really one weapon to worry about in that offense. It's Kenny Golladay.
No, let's not besmirch the Bruce of Ellington.
Sure, okay? I'm going to have some Bruce, too, playing in the slot. But
a lot of people are going to be playing. He's banged up a little bit.
Yeah.
He's dealing with, I believe it's a foot injury, but he's going to play.
And a back, too, I think. Getting pretty old.
The guy is always hurt.
Yeah.
At least it's not his hamstring this time.
Which is a positive. He may be one of the highest.
Michael Roberts will be returning in this game too. If there's a lot of punt tight ends on the slate. All the Cowboys guys without Jeff Swaim. Yeah. Shaheen is someone that you can play. I mean, you don't want to play him. He's going to get 2 targets. You hope he catches 2 touchdowns. Yeah. But Michael Roberts is someone with he missed last week, so a limited Maybe he returned last week.
No, I think he missed, and now it's a crowded kind of tight end.
Yeah, so there's like Levine
crew in
Toilolo.
Detroit. Yeah, Toilolo. Falcons boy.
He's still sticking around for the Lions.
Yeah.
Luke Wilson's on that team.
Yeah.
But there's just a lot of options that I think that you try to. It's hard because you're going to need to pick like a rando dude to have in your lineup here. That's your differentiator. He's the guy that you need to go off in order to win one of these slates. That I just don't know. I think it's Bellamy in this game. Like if you had to take a shot on anyone who sucks, that doesn't do anything, it's Bellamy.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you play the showdown. Obviously, you're going to be a little bit different. But I think sometimes on this slate, people try to be really, really long shots, and
you don't need to go too long shot. But I think that there needs to be some logic behind it. And if I was going to say the Josh Bellamy logic, like I believe he has 7 targets combined the last 2 games, I think they might actually throw more with Chase Daniel because there's so many scenarios, or at least attempt more passes.
Yeah.
Now, maybe Chase Daniels gets sacked. I don't know. But Trubisky so often just pulls the ball down and runs.
That's the thing.
And that takes
that's
away
different.
targets for everyone in the offense.
Exactly. That's the thing that's different about both of these quarterbacks. Like, I feel that Daniel can go in and do a decent enough job to win the game, but he can't move around like Trubisky and get away from the pressure and extend plays. And that's where I feel like I kind of shy away a little bit from guys down the field. I think Cohen is the strongest play in the entire game.
I agree. And if we go to the other side of the ball, I think people will tell you that Kenny Golladay.
He's going to get a ton of targets. That's the thing, right?
But
The volume
are they
and
going
usage
to be
is
useful?
going to be there. Yeah. I'm kind of shying away from him. I'd rather get into that range where it's like, a little bit more money for Julio or Thomas, or a little bit.
It's substantially more money for Julio and Thomas, though. It's $1,900 more and over 23.
And you're about what, $6,700, about $7,000 for Kenny?
64.
64. That's not bad.
He's pretty cheap.
But when he's in that range, I feel like I almost just want to. You can go and spend up and then spend down elsewhere on some of these other guys like we're talking about in the slot, like Ellington or Quinn or Kirkwood or
the problem is with these guys, I think
Sanu.
Sanu's potential. I think that like someone like I even mentioned this last week and it didn't pan out, but someone like Calvin Ridley, is sort of a slate breaker. Someone like Golladay can be if he catches because he's going to get 13 targets. That
he should
be
get
in
double-digit targets.
Like Bruce Ellington. What's Bruce Ellington really going to like? If you're playing cash, yeah. Bruce Ellington's fine because he's way down at the bottom. He's $3,200.
$3,200.
But everyone's gonna own Bruce Ellington.
Yeah.
Like people are hip to his 9 targets last week. They know that he's easy completions. But like, let's say he even goes 7 for 70. That's a great game for Bruce Ellington, scoring 14 points
huge.
at $3,200, and maybe that's enough to get you up the top of the GPP. But Calvin Ridley, like if he has a bad game, he's going to be like 1 for 9. If he has a good game, he's going to be like 4 for 164 and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah,
that's Bruce Ellington's not doing that.
No, he's not. And if he finds the end zone, you're loving it. You're laughing. But I agree. There's way higher ceiling with Calvin Ridley in that total of 60.
But everyone's playing Bruce Ellington. No one's playing. I know the prices don't correlate, but like when you just look at just overall ownership, everyone's taking Ellington. And Theo Riddick's another one. I like Theo Riddick. He's not a guy I want to play on the slate.
No, I just feel like these first 2 games are tough, man. Like they're going to be low scoring. They're going to be like, I could see easily a 17-14 game in both games.
Okay, how about Detroit's D? Take the chance that
you could take the chance. Obviously, you're going up against Chase Daniel. This is his 3rd NFL start. You could take that chance.
And the Lions are still top 5 in adjusted sack rate for defensive lines. They get after now. Since Snacks has come in, it's been worse because they're committed more to stopping the run than actually getting at the passer. But still, like, if everyone's playing Chicago's defense, just flip it around.
Yeah.
Maybe Detroit's defense either scores a touchdown or sets up a short field, and then LeGarrette Blount's rushing in touchdowns.
It's very, very possible. I mean, that's a way of being very different of going Detroit, maybe Blount.
I ended up going Skins and Peterson because I don't think that's
So it's kind of the same situation.
sort of idea, but like people are going to use the Skins D. People are kind of big on the Skins D, but no one's really using Peterson.
No. And
everyone's paying up for Kamara, Ingram, or Zeke.
And we said that on Mondays. Maybe this offense just, AP is top 10 in touches and carries.
You're going to know early.
He's going to touch the ball 15 to 20 times unless they get down big in the game. But, I think that their defense is good enough to keep them in this football game. I don't think that there's I'm wrong about saying that. I'll backtrack a little bit. I was going to say I don't know if there's a huge difference between McCoy and Smith. It's the same situation. McCoy knows this playbook and this offense more so than Alex Smith. He's been around since well before 2014.
Yeah, he's been around since like 1842.
He's had decent games before.
I think that he's been on the Skins since before Thanksgiving was established.
Yeah, he's been around, and I noticed early when he got into that game. I mean, his first target was Jordan Reed, and I think he's going to utilize Jordan Reed. He's going to lean on Reed heavily, and the game plan is going to be to run the football. And both of these teams are going to play at a slow pace, so. I want to try to get as many as I can in that evening game, and that's just kind of the way
that's going to be the most common strategy.
Yeah.
I mean, the one thing that you can do if you load up on the early game and pick the right pieces is then you can late swap off the guys that you need to move on to the chalk and do all that to maintain your lead. And conversely, like if people go off in this Detroit game and now you're chasing, you can't just run out Zeke and Kamara. You have to pivot somewhere because those guys will have Zeke and Kamara.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Showdown slate very quickly. Trubisky's obviously off. As the captain, he was almost $17,000.
Wow.
So in this game, if you're playing the Showdown slate, who are you going to make as your captain, do you think? I will say Cohen.
I was going to say, it may be Cohen, yeah. I mean,
Chase Daniel's I think a lot of people will use Chase Daniel as their captain. He's only 9,300 as a captain.
Yeah.
And you can have every good guy in this game. But I would think this is a spot if you want to use Bears D, make Bears D your captain.
Yeah, I can definitely get behind that because I'm looking at this game and I'm thinking on both sides, Golladay and Cohen are the guys that I think can have the best days.
You could play Golladay,
but you could
Golladay and Cohen, both kickers, both defenses. That could be the path.
It certainly could be. I mean, I see an offensive struggle between these two teams. Yeah, that's a pretty good way to look at it.
All right, next game, Washington at Dallas. The line has not moved yet. The money on the previous game is about 50-50, by the way. The one on this one, everyone's betting on Dallas.
Are you surprised?
No, of course not. They're 7-point favorites. The over-under is the lowest on the board. It is 41 now. It's gone up from 40 and a half to 41, so that's fun.
Wow.
You're getting, instead of moving the line, they've just juiced the Redskins. So to bet the -7 in some places is going to be just even money. Generally, they'll take a vig of -110 on each side of the spread, but to bet the +7 for the Skins is -120. They do not want to give you that half point.
No.
They really don't.
Yeah.
Which I kind of like.
Yeah.
I kind of like that's where it's going because 61% of the money on the Skins right now, 69% of the tickets. Although spread picks, people are kind of leaning, it's about 50-50. So people do like the Skins against the spread. But money line, people are hammering the Cowboys, and the big money is coming in on the Cowboys because they're such a public team.
Yeah.
No Jeff Swaim in this game
Yeah.
on the Cowboys side of the ball. No Sean Lee on the Cowboys defensive side of the ball for the Skins. Is Jamison Crowder? He's not playing, right?
No,
Was he officially ruled out?
I don't know if he's officially ruled out. He's been lingering around practice fields for 3 or 4 weeks now. I don't expect him to play at all.
Bruce Ellington is officially active as of right now, and Mitch Trubisky is officially inactive for this game. Obviously, no Alex Smith. I'm going to guess that Crowder's not playing. It seems really strange. He popped up limited for the first time in weeks. Yesterday, I was like, what?
Yeah, I saw that one time 2 weeks ago too, and he didn't play. Him and Thompson's
been ruled out.
Yeah, I don't expect Crowder to play in this game.
So Zeke, by and large, the best play in this game.
Yeah,
Just
for sure,
play
100%.
Although the Skins' run D is pretty good.
I could make a case for fading him in the entire slate with the 3 games.
Really?
I for sure, because I think that he could potentially have the highest ownership. I know that you're looking at some big time players.
All right, I lied about Washington's run defense. It's 28th. It's their pass defense that's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean their secondary has played really good football this season, and Zeke, the whole thing is Zeke is just going to continue. He's guaranteed those touches. He's guaranteed. He has a career high in targets and catches this season. He's only played 10 games. He's being involved in the passing game. You mentioned Dak and Zeke. That's actually not a bad little. I know you don't.
No, you can't do it just because if you want Dak to break the slate for you, he needs to score rushing touchdowns. And if he scores rushing touchdowns, Zeke's not scoring touchdowns. Listen, on this small of a slate, yes, you can play them together. I don't want to say that you can't.
Yeah.
But if you're just shooting
But if you're looking for the
for the path to the most points,
Yeah.
I don't feel like those two guys go together.
Yeah. Okay. Fair. But I've noticed a lot of catches, obviously, from him in the backfield. But the thing is over the past couple weeks, and in not that game against Tennessee, they didn't run with Zeke in the second half. But over the last 2 weeks, Zeke has been fed the ball a ton in the second half of football games. Because they're winning. They're running the clock out. They're using him, and I don't think that's going to change. So Zeke is, He's arguably the strongest play on the board this week, but I feel like his ownership is going to be extremely high, and you could like I've faded him in most. In cash,
I didn't. Zeke is the one like chalky, expensive guy that I'm playing. I'm thinking about potentially moving to Julio instead of Zeke.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I mean, Julio, and you can get Julio and Thomas, and
Julio's just the guy out of the top 4 guys. Julio's the one that I think is going to come in under. And I actually tweeted this out a little bit earlier. I ran a poll. I like running polls. I think it's a nice.
What do the people say?
So there's over 2,000. There's 1,900 votes in the poll right now. If you could only play one of these guys on the Thanksgiving slate, which one would it be between Zeke, Kamara, Julio, or Thomas? Who would you say?
I would say
can only play one. Got to fade the rest.
I would say Kamara.
You, sir, are on board with the public. I would say it's Zeke. Mm-hmm. So Kamara has 51% of the vote right now. Zeke has 23. Thomas has 16. Julio has 10. Now, you can play 2 of these guys in your lineup. So I'm guessing a lot of people will go Zeke Kamara or Kamara Zeke or Kamara Thomas or Zeke Thomas. I don't think Julio's getting in that mix that much.
So you could play 4 of them if you play Daniel. I have a lineup.
Yeah.
I have a lineup like that. You know, it's not crazy to think that you could play Satan, your boy, and Kamara. You could play both of those guys. You could have done it last week.
I think a lot of people will.
You could have done it the week before. You could have done it almost every single game last season.
So I'm looking at it right now. Rush defense-wise, Dallas is 7th against the run, and they do funnel everything to the pass. The problem is with Colt McCoy playing quarterback, I just think they're going to try to run as much as possible. They did it last. Like Houston has an awesome run. Houston's run defense is better than Dallas's run defense. They're second in DVOA, and Peterson got his.
Yeah,
like he's got. If you're ever going to play guys in bad matchups, make sure that they have the path to volume and the path to touchdowns. And that is the one thing Adrian Peterson has. I don't think it's a high percentage play, but if you're talking about being contrarian in a GPP, I think he's the type of guy you want to play. Now, if you wanted to fade sort of the top end guys, and I won't tell you who I guess I am using Zeke, but like the 2 running backs I'm using, Peterson and Cohen. Like I'm not paying for the Saints guys. I'm not going to Coleman. I'm not doing that. I'm just going to use those 2 and hope that works out, only because I know people are shying away from Peterson in a spot where he should smash. And everyone's using like Theo Riddick. Like Peterson's not substantially more than Theo Riddick. He's in a worse spot.
Yeah.
I mean, if you told me...
But he's guaranteed more touches.
If you told me that one of them scores like... Let's say between the 2 of them, like one of them scores 2 points and one of them scores 12 points. Yeah, I'll give you Theo Riddick probably gets 12 points.
Yeah.
But if you tell me that one of them scores 35 and one of them scores 12, the 35 is Adrian Peterson.
Yeah, and if you look at the game log and all of his huge games, I mean, obviously he's a little bit touchdown dependent, but the bottom line is he's still top 7 in carries and touches. The volume is there, and it's not going to go away. And even if he struggles. Even if he struggles in the first few games, they're still going to. I feel like that's going to be their game plan this week is to give him the ball as much as possible.
You could also construct a lineup where you fade Zeke, pay up for the other top guys, and use like Dak, Gallup, and Cooper.
Yeah,
and
then you get away from Zeke. Yeah, that's what you should do if you're fading Zeke.
If you're fading Zeke, that should be the play that you're using.
Yeah, you should. Yeah, absolutely.
Just
you get
be
Dak
like,
and one of his weapons in Cooper.
Yeah, like Zeke piles up 111 yards, but no touchdowns. And all the touchdowns come through Dak.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what you'd be banking on.
For sure.
And on a short slate, like those are viable options. They're not necessarily winning options, but they box out so much of the field that if that one thing happens, you're sitting pretty.
Every time you count out AP.
Well, he always does well in bad matchups. Whenever people don't want to play AP, he smashes.
Yeah.
Whenever it's like, oh, it's chalk AP week, it's like 2 points.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Everyone comes. They want to play AP after those big games when he has 25 plus carries and over 100 yards and 2 touchdowns, and he doesn't show up that week. I mean, you see it all the time.
Man. He gets tired.
Yeah. Man, he's gonna be feeling it today.
Did you see
in Dallas?
Did you see that he was quoted this morning about how he still talks about beating his kids with the belt?
He should just like watch what he says. Obviously,
just don't talk about your kids anymore, man. Just don't do it.
I couldn't believe when I saw that
Or just
quote.
smarten up.
I was like, why are you saying this right now? Like,
this has no upside, AP.
No,
leave the upside for your fantasy. All right, well, you can be a volatile fantasy player.
You say I smacked him last week or something.
Yeah, just like, oh, good God, man.
Like, don't say that.
No Thompson. Any interest in Bibbs? I don't.
No, there's other, like I said, like the pass catchers. I'd rather Cohen. I'd rather Riddick, and even, Tevin Coleman is decent, especially if they're going to pass the football a ton.
You think that Cole Mania could be running wild on the Saints?
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to run wild, but, you could see 5 or 6 catches from him. That's definitely a possibility up against the
Saints. I still hate
his
his split with Judge Ito.
Yeah.
Hate it.
Ito has cooled off a little bit lately.
He's still playing like 45% of the snaps, though, and it hurts the bottom line.
It does, and also, if you're looking for touchdowns and complete upside when Atlanta gets inside that red zone, it's Ito's. He's on the football field and not Kevin.
And of all like the periphery running backs that you could potentially use this week, if you want just a low owned guy, you have like Blunt, Ito, Bibbs.
AP is one of them.
No, AP is like a good.
Yeah, but he's going to be. His ownership is not going to be high.
I'm just talking about like backup running backs that like get involved.
Yeah.
Out of like those three, who would you go with? Because like I would throw Ingram into that mix, but Ingram's a guy that plays.
Yeah, Ingram plays. He gets enough touches.
But like those three guys, would you use any of those three, and which one would you use?
I think I could get behind Bibbs slightly.
I think I'd go with Ito. Actually, you know what? I'd probably go with Blunt. Just because if they get on the 1 yard line, they're giving him the ball.
Well, that's a guarantee.
That's the
they
one
were
thing
doing
that
it
we know.
anyways. With Carey on there, they were doing it anyways. So,
or Zach Zenner. People are like big on Double Z this week. Don't be in on Double Z. Come on.
That's just ludicrous. Again, the Bears, man, they don't give up a lot on the ground, and they've allowed 2 rushing touchdowns all year. I think last week was just the second, and I just don't expect Detroit to really move the ball. I really don't, and I don't expect a lot of plays inside the red zone. So I would kind of lean away from him. I think it's Bibbs just from the fact that AP could struggle. There's a possibility. We're talking about him getting a lot of touches.
And if they get behind, they're going to take AP out because AP is game script dependent.
Absolutely. So there's certainly a possibility that Bibbs gets a lot of play in this game and catches a few balls, and we've seen it already this season. I think he has a couple of receiving touchdowns already.
The problem is what are you getting from like best case scenario with Capri Bibbs? You're getting Theo Riddick.
Exactly.
So but best case scenario for someone like Blunt is 3 touchdowns.
3 touchdowns. 10 to 12 carries,
but
whatever.
But you're there for the touchdowns.
Yeah,
with Bibbs, you're not.
Yeah. Yeah, the ceiling is higher.
Yeah,
the
so if you're taking a flyer, I think I would go with Blunt in that. Yeah. It looks like Michael Gallup will play for the Dallas Cowboys. I'm shying away from Amari Cooper. I do think that Gallup is an interesting pivot play off Ellington, though.
Yeah.
He's still playing
price-wise.
Over 90% of the snaps.
He's still very involved. I think obviously there's a higher ceiling with Cooper.
There is a higher ceiling with Cooper, just because they just forced the ball to him.
And that's the thing that they didn't.
But the Skins, I misspoke earlier when I said the Skins' rushing defense is good. It's not. It's 28th. Right. They're 6th in passing. Mm-hmm. And they're not bad at taking. I mean, they couldn't take out DeAndre Hopkins, but they did limit him.
Yeah.
And like, no one stops DeAndre Hopkins. You can stop Amari Cooper.
You can stop Amari Cooper. What I've noticed from Amari Cooper in the 3 games, it's amazing that Oakland didn't give him a target on the opening drive once this season. Like, not once.
Well, Oakland's bad.
He has more red zone targets in 3 games with Dallas than he had all year with Oakland. Like, they didn't utilize him properly, and that's not the case in Dallas. Whether it's the fact that they want to prove everyone, like, this first-round pick that we spent, it was warranted. We want to use this guy. I just feel like he's been a big-time part of the game plan, and a lot of it's been Zeke, and a lot of it's been stretching the field with Amari Cooper, and I think that's opened things up for Zeke, and Cooper is getting a lot of targets. So I can see getting away from it. I actually looked at who'd Washington play last night. So they played Houston, as you mentioned. There's been a lot of big time performances from wide receivers against this Washington defense. Most of it has been big time players. There's been, I think, 5 guys with over 100 yards against the secondary this year, but.
So it's going to be Cole Beasley. Big time Cole Beasley.
It hasn't been those guys, for the most part in the slot. It's been down the field. Some big plays have been given up to wide receivers. So I think Cooper is a strong play, but you're trying to think outside the box in a slate like this. I think Gallup will be involved.
Well, I mean, maybe Gallup's not the play here. So here's some interesting DVOA numbers for Washington. They're 13th against wide receiver 1s. They're 3rd against wide receiver 2s. 29th against all other receivers, which would be Cole Beasley. Or maybe Beasley is the play.
Yeah, maybe he is. I mean, there's a little bit of safety there, just slightly in terms of targets. You get the full point, obviously, on DraftKings, playing in the slot.
And they're not
catches.
Cole Beasley, no stranger to like 2 touchdown games either.
I think he may have had 2 touchdowns last year at this time, and on the Thanksgiving game. I'd like to. I may dig this up, the fantasy points against for the wide receivers, just to give a little bit of a background here. But I've noticed some big time performances against the secondary in Washington. You just gave some numbers.
Will you play any of the Dallas tight ends? You got Rico Gathers, you got Dalton Schwartz, and you got Blake Jarwin.
No dice.
They're all so cheap.
I know. I can't do it.
All right, let's talk Showdown Slate then.
Yeah.
If you have a captain from this game, probably going to be Peterson for me. just because everyone's going to use Elliott or Dak. Like, that's the move. You could use Colt McCoy. He's 20. Like, do you have any interest in Colt McCoy? Like, you seem to have interest in Chase Daniel.
I have a little bit more interest in Colt McCoy than Chase Daniel.
Oh, really? See, I have more interest in Chase Daniel.
Yeah, just because the fact that I've seen a little bit more from Colt McCoy, and again, he's been in this offense for a couple years now. I think he understands the playbook a little bit more. You can make a case that he understands it more than Alex Smith, and maybe more familiar with it. So Jordan Reed, I think, is a weapon. Doxson, I know he's been very underwhelming, but he still has
Doxson's
going to
get locked
options
down this week.
Yeah, Dallas' secondary is actually pretty legit. So I think, maybe Reed is the play. Why not him?
If Crowder's not playing, Trey Quinn's going to be chalky, but he's only $3,500. Just, you can get Dallas in the slot, easy throws for Colt McCoy, and he even leaned on him a little bit last week after Alex Smith exited the game. They
went to him right away.
Yeah, and he's playing the slot without Crowder. Bump Maurice Harris to the outside. That I think he's the one skins receiver you can play, but I think everyone kind of knows that. It's sort of like the Bruce Ellington thing, that you're going to see a lot of Trey Quinn, Bruce Ellington lineups as the savings. You can pay down for Chase Daniel, or pay down for those two and Theo Riddick, and pay up for everyone else.
Right.
That's a method that a lot of people are using. So
I think Reed would be my captain. I got some numbers here just from some big time performances against these wideouts. So, QT wasn't phenomenal, but 77. So we have Chris Godwin, who had 7 for 103. The week before that, Julio is obviously a stud, 7 for 121. Odell Beckham Jr., 8 for 136. These guys are studs, but Gallup already played them. He had 81 yards. Allen Hurts had 74 yards in that game. We had 74 yards from Funches, 111 from Traquan Smith. 83 yards from T.Y., 76 from Larry. Like, they've given up some big-time plays to wideouts, man, and some touchdowns involved there, too. So, you may be onto something with Gallup.
Yeah, Gallup is just so cheap, and he's a good pivot off like the Trey Quinns and Bruce Ellingtons, and he has the upside that we talked about that you want for this sort of slate. Beasley might be the safer play, though. I
think he's definitely safer, but I am interested in Cooper. I'm interested in Amari Cooper.
I am not. I'm never interested.
And the thing is like, if you are going to fade Zeke and not play him, then that's kind of where you go. Like, you don't want to play both of them.
Yeah. Both defenses live, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dallas is number 2 behind the Bears in terms of, like, overall, like, rankings.
Yeah.
For me, it's like Chicago, Dallas, then I think Washington on the slate would be 3rd.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Okay, last game, the game that everyone actually cares about.
Yeah, no kidding.
The prime time, Atlanta at New Orleans. New Orleans is now down to being a minus 11.5 favorite. Now, this is interesting because we're getting extreme reverse line movement on this because all the cash is on the New Orleans Saints. More spread picks are coming in right now on the Falcons at this new number, but still 73% of the money on the Saints, 79% of tickets. There's going to be a lot of teasers, a lot of parlays with the money line that involve the New Orleans Saints. Feels very trappy, but
it does.
I said a few weeks ago, I am done betting against the Saints. They've covered 8 straight games. Yeah. They go for it on 4th and 7 when they're up by 55 points. Like, they're just putting it down. Now, people will point to this game's usually close between these two teams.
It is. It usually is.
But these are two different teams this year.
They're very different. Even when they met earlier in the year, the Saints defense has been a lot better since that point in time. Like, they went into Cincinnati, hardly allowed anything, and obviously they did a really good job against the Eagles last week, and what was a good spot for them, at least what we thought. Yeah, it's hard not to take the Saints, man. I mean, you're right. They're going for it. Like, Sean Payton does not care. I mean, Malcolm Jenkins flipped off the Saints sideline last week. Like, what are you guys doing here? You're up 40 points and you're going for it on 4th and 7, to get a touchdown. I wonder if Payton is just like, screw it. Drew Brees has never. Can you imagine? Drew Brees has never won an MVP award. Let's get him an MVP. Let's.
Cust picked him to win MVP at the beginning of the year.
He may be on to something, man.
He might be. He also said that Drew Brees would lead the league in passing. And I was like, if the Saints are good and Drew Brees wins the MVP, there's 0% chance he leads the league in passing.
That was the Brees at the start, right? Like, that was the problem last year.
8-8 Brees.
Yeah.
Is lead the league in passing Brees. 13-3 Brees is efficient.
Yeah.
Not putting up 5,000 yards.
Right. Last year was the different Breeze. They had a run game. They had a strong defense. It was, usually Breeze is in the top 3 or 4 in red zone passing attempts among quarterbacks. And last year he wasn't. I think he had 30 fewer red zone passing attempts because they ran the ball and the defense was solid. But this year it's, last week was a prime example. Like, let's give Breeze, let's let him do what he wants to do here and put up as many points as he can. And I don't think that'll change. Like, that's not going to change. But I like both of these backs, man. I like Ingram and I like Kamara. It may be popular to do that, but at the same time, maybe it's not.
I think you'll see I think you'll see that more in Showdown than on the actual main slate because people will find the money for Zeke or they'll pay down to one of those cheaper guys like Theo Riddick.
The Falcons' defense has just been so bad against the run. You know, obviously last year allowing a league high 110 catches of backs. This year the exact same thing. I know Kamara's not going to get 15 grabs, but that's what he had when they played him. 15 catches. Ingram, over the past couple weeks, they've been heavy favorites. We saw him run the clock out a little bit against the Bengals in what was a good matchup, and the last week against the Eagles was the same thing. It's a guessing game which guy's going to get the ball in the red zone, but last year it was Ingram. He had more red zone rushing attempts. It's just both of these guys are going to get theirs. It really is. And I think that you could make a case for just fading Breeze, playing Ryan, like you said.
And
I think that's a great play,
and
playing the running backs on the other side. I like that strategy.
Keith Kirkwood is my play of the day.
Yeah, I'm in on him too.
$3,200. Traquan's banged up.
Traquan's banged up. I'd like to hear something about him today.
We're not going to know until later is the problem. So
he says he's going to play.
He probably will play, but yeah, Keith Kirkwood is like no Brendan Marshall. Keith Kirkwood.
He's got 8 targets in 2 games.
Yeah, Keith Kirkwood the last 2 games has, he had 5 targets against Philly, 3 for 33, 2 targets the game before against Cincy, 45 yards. Like, he can get down the field. It just takes one of these big plays to really break this out. And he is the guy. Like I mentioned, Michael Gallup is one of them. I prefer Kirkwood, who's going to be even lower owned.
Me too.
But like Ellington and Trey Quinn, that is your chalk at cheap receiver. Always fade the cheap receiver chalk. Always do it. And if it beats you, it beats you. Most of the time, it's not.
It's not going to.
And it gives you a huge advantage. The 2 guys to pivot onto, Kirkwood and Michael Gallup. I prefer Kirkwood.
Me too, because the higher total.
And the better matchup.
And the better matchup. 60 points is that total. Their team implied total is over 30. So, yeah, I agree with you 100%. He's starting to trend up. Like, the snaps came down a little bit, but the thing is, with the Saints, I feel like they're just at a point right now where they're just playing with people. Like, let's see what else we have here, because obviously we're cruising. We know we have 2 great backs in Michael Thomas. We can go to all day, nonstop. But let's see here. What do we have with Kirkwood? Let's give him a little bit more play. Let's give him some more snaps. Let's give him the ball a little bit more. Maybe he's going to be a factor for us in a couple weeks. Red zone. He got a red zone target last week.
He did.
Too.
So it just takes one. It takes either one big one or one touchdown, and you're like, "Ooh, here we go."
Yeah.
Kirkwood season.
Yeah.
Now watch him get 0 targets, because that's you got to understand.
There's
that's on
obviously
the
a
board
possibility.
too.
Yeah.
But like I mentioned before, you're not winning if Bruce Ellington puts up 5 for 50.
No.
Let's say like everyone's talking about he had 9 targets last week. And I mentioned the 7 for 70 game. That's pretty good.
It is.
But let's just say it's 4 for 40, which is in the Bruce Ellington wheelhouse. Sure. No touchdowns, 4 for 40. Yeah. That's not doing you anything. You might as well take the 0. What's the difference?
Yeah, exactly. And I agree. More upside here in Kirkwood. I'm in on him.
So Kirkwood, so you have Michael Thomas, Traquan. I'm not playing Traquan. And now he was going to be super chalk. Now he's not going to be chalk. He could.
I'm actually more interested in him now that he's questionable.
I am now too, but I probably he doesn't fit my build.
Right. I agree with you. We talked about this on Monday. Like, he's the fade. Like, everyone is going to be in on him now. But now that, he's not practicing, he's got the foot, he's questionable, you could definitely make a case for him. Like, the ownership will probably be, it should be a lot lower now.
So Michael Thomas or Julio?
Julio.
Yeah, I'm on Team Julio here too. The problem is I'm going to fade Julio and take Calvin Ridley.
I like the Calvin Ridley play because I feel like a lot of people would be on Sanu, and they should be. That's the way to attack the Saints is in the middle of the field. Their slot corner has not been good. I slipped my mind right now, but he's not been good at all this year. He's given up some big plays. And Sanu has – the thing is with Sanu, and everybody, I feel like the sharp people are on to Sanu getting more snaps.
Oh, yeah, so Sanu –
running more routes.
But if this was season-long fantasy – I would play Mohamed Sanu.
Of course. Yeah.
We're
talking about upside.
If we're talking about upside in terms of a DraftKings tournament on a short slate, and when you factor in ownership into it, I just think Ridley's a better play.
Ridley who balled out in that game earlier in the year as well.
Was it this game that he balled out in?
I think so. Because Julio was.
And they had to move Lattimore onto him.
Touchdowns. Yeah. I like that play with Calvin Ridley. My thinking is the same as you, is that they're going to have to throw the ball. They're just going to have to, right?
Yeah.
To keep up here. And if you're going to fade Breeze on the other side and just, again, it could be certainly a running back game for both of them.
Fading Breeze is so scary.
Of course. It's extremely scary. He's got an 83% completion percentage, and he's the best. And at home, his numbers are even better. He doesn't throw any interceptions. The team doesn't allow any pressure. He doesn't get sacked. He's got all kinds of weapons.
Playing Taysom Hill in Showdown.
I mean, he got a red zone target last week. Like, that's what I mean about this team toying with people.
Well, the thing is, like, they distribute everything. That's why, like, either you concentrate on the running backs or you just take Breeze and just try to hope you can find the guy that he throws to. But, like, for all we know, Zach Line is going to get a 1-yard touchdown in this stupid game.
Yeah. And last week,
And the other guy, like,
Thomas only had 4 targets, but he still returned value at wide receiver 1. Like, he still had, 94 yards and touchdown.
yeah. So there's 3 tight ends you can plausibly consider. You have Josh Hill for the Saints side. You have Dan Arnold, who's like doing stuff now, and then Ben Watson, who does nothing now.
Yeah.
Just no thanks. Like, people are playing Dan Arnold. People are like, I'm smart. I'm playing Dan Arnold.
I mean, that's where I feel like people just try to be too different.
Listen, I'm playing Kirkwood, so I can't really throw stones here.
Right. But I think there's like more upside in playing Kirkwood.
I agree. Is Hooper going to be the most owned tight end on the slate?
No,
I think he is. I think he'll carry more ownership than Reed.
really.
Yeah.
I don't think so. But it does make sense because, again, what we're talking about, the high total.
He's cheap.
He's only like $400 or $500 cheaper though, no?
Is he
He's still
cheaper?
in the
No, he's
$4,000
$200. He's $500 less than Reed, and Burton is $4,000. I might go on. Right now in my lineup, I have Hooper in. I might take Hooper out, swap him for Trey Burton, and like make it'll open up a few more dollars. I think that I can get to one more decent receiver to pair with Ridley.
I think that'd be worth it if you can upgrade a wide receiver and do that. Like, again, I don't know where like most tight ends, Burton is touchdown dependent.
But it's a good, of any team on this slate, Detroit is the worst against tight ends.
Yeah, for sure. And there's really only 3 that you want to play.
Yeah, so it's Reed, Hooper, and Burton.
And if you want to get away from chalk, because Reed is going to completely be chalk.
And so is Hooper.
And Hooper will be too. But like I said, the Saints have been pretty good against tight ends.
Yeah, but Hooper's just
anything.
But it's the same thing. Like when in doubt this week, and it's the same reason that we ended up on Kirkwood is that when in doubt and you want a cheap piece of a game, you might want to take the one that has 20 more implied points than the other games.
Yeah.
Like just take the random pieces of that game because there's going to be scoring.
You know, you brought up the Saints, and I actually do have them in one lineup. Is it possible the Saints just cruise again, and win 50-12 or something?
Dude, they're 12-point favorites.
Yeah, and
They
just
absolutely could.
And give up nothing to Matt Ryan and company.
And like I said, there's no team that's going to face more passing attempts against.
I think Davenport's back tonight.
And that's exactly what you're looking for in this, like for
They're
fantasy
amazing
defenses.
against the run.
For anyone new who's tuned into this,
Yeah.
I don't care if a defense is good or not.
Yeah.
I want them to be facing passing volume because that's how you score fantasy points.
I agree, and
They can
I kind of like them a little bit more.
They could give up.
Chatting to you about
They
it.
could give up 28
Yeah.
points on the board and still score like 20 fantasy points.
Yeah, get after Ryan and a couple picks here and there because they're gonna have to throw the ball. The thing is, Atlanta is near the bottom in rushing yards. Like they have really struggled since Freeman has been sidelined. There was a couple good games early on with Coleman. They haven't been able to run the ball at all, and the Saints don't allow anything on the ground. Like the second best team against the run this season.
Does Kirkwood return kicks? Kamara returns punts.
I don't. That's a good question. I don't know if he does or not.
I legit don't know who the Saints kick returner is. But like,
just pair up the Saints and then
you could pair up Saints D and Kamara. I actually think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, of course.
Because you get the short fields. Now maybe you think that plays into Ingram, but you get Kamara returning the punts as double points if he actually returns.
We haven't seen that from him in a long time. He did that a couple times last year.
Did he?
He had a game with a rushing, receiving, and a return. It was like the Tyreek Hill game. He had one like that too.
I think David Johnson had something close to that because he was returning kickoffs.
Yeah.
His first year. I'm gonna find this out before we get to the questions. Now I'm just feeling like a dummy for not knowing.
Well, I mean,
I could lie and say that. What's that? Taysom Hill. Oh yeah, that's right. Taysom Hill does return punts.
Man, the Saints are awesome. The Saints are they're just so far ahead of everybody else. And I know we just saw arguably one of the best Monday Night Football games in Rams and Chiefs, but I'm still on Drew Brees and company is the best quarterback in the league.
Taysom Hill, Saints D stack.
I mean, they could win by 50 points and then just put him in.
You could but you can play him at running back.
Yeah.
on DraftKings, you can play him at running back. So.
Red zone targets, rushing attempts, and he's going to touch the ball.
He'll get 5 touches in this game.
Absolutely, he will. He'll have a couple red zone rushing attempts. He'll have a target. He may even return one, throw one.
All right, so what I'm doing right now, I'm opening up the chat for questions, the rules of the chat. If you ask me about Mark Ingram, you're banned for life. If you ask a stupid question, you're banned for life. Or There's other ones on this too. I completely forget what they are, but maybe you'll find
Starting
out.
sits
And
on Sundays.
Yeah, just keep it to Thanksgiving games.
Yeah.
If you ask me a question about Sunday, I have a Sunday show that is live. You can tune back in then. If you ask me a Sunday start sit question, you're banned for life.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. I like Ingram.
First question. Sunday question. Banned for life. All right, I got a trigger finger here that's ready to ban people. Put it that way.
Careful, people. Smash that like button.
Yeah, you got to smash the like button. That keeps everything going. Of course, keeps everything going here. But we're going to try to get Facebook. We're going to try to get Periscope.
Nice.
We're trying to... And I'll give you Tim's teaser. Tim gave us a teaser.
I'm interested to hear about
teased... Who was it, Paul? He teased...
The opposite of my teaser.
Yeah, Paul took the opposite end of the teaser. The fun thing about teasers is that they can both win.
Yeah.
It's a 7-point teaser. He teased the Saints, the Skins, and I feel like he teased the Lions up to 9 or the Lions up to 10.
It's not awful.
I mean, it's a teaser. Every teaser looks
pretty good. Yeah.
Looks like a winner whenever you fill it in. Every single one.
My teaser last week, it looked real good, I thought, and then Carolina,
Carolina put the
pulled
nuts,
the Carolina.
put the screws to you.
Yeah.
Going for 2. Well, you got to do it.
I just needed to win by 1.
We got to do a heated argument about that.
About going for it.
About going for it.
You and
Me and Cust.
you liked it?
I like it. I liked it because they had the right play, and they seem to know.
They definitely had the right play.
They seem to know that they had the right play, so why not go for it?
And if you're a team on the sidelines, if you're Norv Turner, you're thinking, you know what? Do it again.
Yeah, so the 7-point tease Cuss gave out, and remember, he's 1-10 this year on teasers because he's Cussed. Detroit plus 10, Washington plus 14, New Orleans minus 5.5, 7-point tease. I think it pays even money.
The Saints will win by 3. I'll be pissed. The Saints will win by 3, and it'll be Carson Breeze' MVP.
I actually think the one that's in the most risk is Chicago just wins by 30.
Yeah, this is an extreme possibility. Like I said, I don't think it's that huge of a downgrade to Trubisky. As much as I came on here before and I talked up Trubisky, it's more about this Bears offense and what Nagy does and plays to the strengths of the quarterback. So, I mean, I think they'll keep it simple with short throws like we already talked about, and I think the defense will do enough. I'm not in on Detroit at all. We
didn't even talk about Stafford.
There's nothing really to talk about.
I guess not. All right, so let's go to the Facebook questions, all right? Oh, no, now it's playing. I can hear your voice coming at me. I have to bring this one up on my phone because I don't quite know how to do all this stuff yet, now that we've just started streaming.
So many devices.
All right, so Pat Mayo, favorite kick. Yeah, that's not a question. Question for Thursday Wishbone. Who is your $2,500 tight end pick if you have to pick one? Out of all the cheapies.
Goodness.
I'll take Shaheen. Maybe he scores a touchdown. One of the Dallas guys is probably the call, though. And if it's the Dallas guys, I'll take Jarwin.
I lean him too, but I'll go Shaheen as well. Let's lean him. Man, I wouldn't want to do it. I don't want to play any of those guys.
Galladay or Cooper?
Cooper.
I'll take Galladay. I like Galladay more. He's gonna see double the targets.
He's safer. He's definitely safer.
He also has more upside. Because that might be the only guy they throw to all game. Would you run Kamara, Satan, and Julio in one lineup?
Yeah, we talked about that. Yeah, that's
So you
actually
definitely
one of
would.
I 100% would.
All right, so those are some of the Facebook questions. Let's see. Let's get to some of the YouTube questions right now. Is anyone else on TGK? That's not a question. Preference between Zeke, Michael Thomas, and Julio. I like Zeke the best.
Me too. I like Zeke the best as well. Just safer. He really is. It's crazy to say that, but he is.
Burton, Rudolph, or Ebron? That's a season-long question. I would play Burton.
Yeah, me too. Rudolph hasn't done anything all year.
Pittsburgh D or Detroit D this week? I like Pittsburgh D.
I like Pittsburgh D as well.
Okay.
In case Keenum.
Start AP? Question mark? Sure.
Yeah,
let's go for it.
You got to play him.
Would you play Doug Baldwin or would you play Amari Cooper in season long?
I would play Amari Cooper.
You would play Amari Cooper? I think I would play Amari Cooper as well.
Yeah.
That scares me, though.
Yeah.
Oh, my playoffs are weeks 12 to 15. Is Christian McCaffrey better than Mac? Trade. Banned for life!
Mac's got a good spot in a good spot this week, though. But their center Ryan Kelly is
banned
out,
for
but
life.
Yeah, I usually
Banned for
like
life.
to just
People can fuck off with their Sunday questions. That's part of the rules. Theo, Jalen Richard, or MVS? Pick
Theo,
2.
Jalen Richard.
I play MVS and
yeah,
Jalen. I like Rocket Richard this week.
I do too. Gruden's talking him up as a guy who could touch the ball, carry the ball 20 times, which I laughed at. But I do agree that I like him. And MVS is I think he's in a bounce back spot this week.
Agreed. Cooper against Washington or Ridley against the Saints in standard leagues. I think for season long, it's Cooper.
Yeah, Cooper
But
for
if
sure.
we're talking DraftKings, it's Ridley.
Yeah, I mean, Cooper is the safer play, but I mean, if you're looking for that upside and that touchdown, I mean, what is your opponent stacking? Like, if you're looking for the highest ceiling possible, it's Ridley.
Cole Beasley or AP on a DK flex spot. For tournaments, it's Adrian Peterson.
Yeah, I agree. He's just guaranteed touches.
Yeah. Do the Lions smash with Trubisky dead? I do not believe so.
No, I don't think so either.
Oh, Shaheen ruled out.
Oh,
Thank you, Paul. So yeah, don't play Adam Shaheen.
that's the thing. Like, you're just
You got to be active all day. Like the Traquan Smith news could come out that he's just out.
yeah, that could. I would say we'll hear something about that around 4 or 5 Eastern time.
Matt Ryan or Cam Newton in standard? I'll take Cam.
Yeah, Cam is he's safe.
Skins D or Pats D this week?
Pats are playing the Jets.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the Pats.
I'll still take the Skins. The Pats D's too bad.
It is bad. But with your logic, I think they'll be throwing the football a lot.
Josh Adams or Jordan Howard? I'd still play Jordan Howard.
I'm going to go with Adams there.
You homer.
No, it's not that. It's what our buddy Seeley said about Snacks. It's 3 straight running backs over 100 yards against them.
Yeah, but we don't even know
Peyton
if it's
Barber?
going to be Adams. I'm telling you, they may have rested
No.
Wendell Smallwood last week. You're just
That's 3 straight games I've
everyone
noticed.
Is so
The
willing
Giants
to,
are going to win that football game.
No, they're not. The Eagles are going to rout them. Cohen or Howard? I like Cohen.
Cohen, yeah. Cohen.
I like Cohen.
Yeah.
Do you think the Cowboys are smashing today? I do not. I think the Skins cover the 7.
Me too. I'm on
they-
Washington
I
as
think
well.
Dallas wins by 3.
Yeah,
They
I
could
think-
lose that game outright, though. People are way too high on the Cowboys.
Every
now.
time you're high in the Cowboys, what happens, right? Remember Tennessee? Right? And then
it was
against
2 weeks ago.
No, yeah, and then nobody gave him any credit against Philadelphia, and nobody was picking him against Atlanta either.
Ridley, Sanu, Kirk, or the Gus Bus? Pick 2 PPR.
I like Sanu.
I'll take in season long. I'll take Sanu and Gus.
Yeah. You have to go with Gus. I mean, you don't know if he's going to have 17 carries again, but you have to. You have to just assume that that's going to be the game plan. They're going to run the football against Oakland.
You got to roll the dice.
Yeah,
you got to roll the dice
have
on
to.
it.
You have to.
Allen Robinson or Marquise Goodwin, half point. I might just take Marquise Goodwin. It's
It's
against Tampa.
it's the highest total of the week on the Sunday slate. It's 55 points. Absolutely.
That's really close, though. Anthony Miller or Tyler Boyd. Please don't ban me. No, that's a stupid question. You're getting banned. You're at least getting put in timeout. You should know the answer to that question.
Yeah.
Or just check the
Especially
rankings.
with
A lot of
AJ
these
back.
questions can be answered by the rankings, mind you.
Yeah.
Smash the like button, too, if you're not banned. Theo Riddick or AP on DK. AP for me.
Yeah, I'm going to go AP as well.
I have Burton, but Doyle starting. Since Burton starts today, would you drop him and go with Doyle the rest of the season? Yeah.
I would play Doyle
I'd play
this
Doyle
week,
as well.
and then you don't need the 2 tight ends. You could always hold him, and if he has a good game, you can flip him, or it's probably too late to trade, but...
Stafford or Allen Robinson in Showdown?
Oh, wow.
Probably just take the quarterback.
Yeah, I think so, too. Who knows what Allen Robinson
Ingram or Mixon? Banned for life.
The answer is Mixon.
Oh, people are saying this isn't actually live. It's a bit of a delay. Yeah. Nothing you actually watch is live.
Yeah. I mean, they have the 14-second delay on a lot of people.
Yeah, I think we're on 20 with this, like 20 to 30, because that's just how YouTube streams.
Yeah.
Depending on which one you're watching on. For the YouTube, I believe it's 30. I think Periscope's a little bit faster. But like when you're watching football on TV, there's people say like it's a 7-second delay. It's not. It's like a 25-second delay.
Yeah, you always get the notifications sometimes before,
Okay,
especially if you're live betting.
Allen Robinson or Mohamed Sanu?
I like Sanu.
I like Sanu as well. Dallas D or Bills D? I like Dallas D.
I like Dallas D.
Cash game, Robinson or Ridley? I wouldn't play either in cash.
No, I don't feel
Those are not safe options.
Yeah,
Like, you could pay for Cooper in that spot. Like Cooper and cash makes more sense.
absolutely. Cooper and Sanu make more sense than those guys.
Burton today or Brait on Sunday?
Brait.
I would play Brait as well. Standard scoring, do I take a flyer on Kirkwood over either Sutton, Shepard, or John Brown? Over John Brown, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can't. John Brown's borderline droppable at this point.
Sanu, Ridley, or Beasley? I'll take Sanu.
Yeah, I'm in on Sanu this week.
Kirkwood or Marshall? Well, I don't think Marshall's going to play.
Yeah, I don't know
so
about
I'll take
Marshall.
Kirkwood.
Yeah, Kirkwood's the guy there.
Keep an eye on that, though. for actives and inactives later on.
If anything, like if for whatever reason Bibbs didn't play, then obviously Marshall would be more interesting.
Oh, I thought it was Brandon Marshall.
You'll probably mean Byron.
Yeah, if they mean Byron, yeah, then Kirkwood. Yeah, if it's Byron Marshall, yeah.
Yeah.
Amari Cooper or Fitzgerald. I like Larry Fitz.
Yeah, I like Larry Fitz too. He's been trending up, man, over the past 3 weeks.
Would you play Sanu and Hooper together? If you have just a complete Atlanta stack, sure.
Yeah.
If you want to.
It is a high total. A lot of passing in that game.
Would you play Sanu over Lamar Miller in a PPR league? I would.
Yeah, I'll lean that way. Usually I typically like to get the back that's going to touch the ball 17 times.
Against Tennessee, it's a
really tough spot
tough
for him.
matchup. Can you start Michael Thomas, Julio Jones, and Matt Ryan? If you want to, sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, go nuts, man. It's your lineup. 2 flex spots. Phillip Lindsay, Sony Michel, Josh Gordon, Corey Davis. None of those guys play on Thanksgiving. Banned for life.
Banned for life.
See, this guy's trying to get banned. Here to remind Pat that Mark Ingram is playing today, which means he's banned for life. Pick 2, Traquan, MVS, or Tyler Lockett. I played Lockett and MVS.
Yeah, same. Lockett is those touchdowns are going to disappear at some point, but I still think he's Wilson's favorite target.
Sanu, no, I like Baldwin better, but Sanu, Bruce Ellington, or Trey Quinn. Sorry, I'll take Sanu.
Sanu, Ellington, or Trey. Yes,
in half point.
Sanu.
Dan Arnold on the winning lineup, potentially if he catches 2 touchdowns. Deshaun Watson or Lamar Jackson. That sounds like, and his last name is Ingram. I can't ban this guy fucking quick enough.
That's a good one.
Ridley or Tate? I'll take Ridley.
Yeah, Ridley.
Jameis or Lamar Jackson? That sounds like a Sunday question, which means you can't ask it on Sunday because you're banned for life. Bigger day. Ingram or Kamara? Banned for life. Oh, this is way more fun than answering questions. Just banning people. Thoughts on AP as captain? That's who I'm playing as my captain.
Yeah, I think it's an underrated play.
It's contrarian captain play.
Yep.
Don't be shocked if it blows up in your face.
Yeah. But man, this guy finds the end zone twice. You're loving it.
Famous Jameis or Matt Stafford?
Jameis.
Jameis for me as well. Pat, longtime fan. I'm a longtime fan of yours too, Billy. Saw you on NBC Philly. My man's coming up.
Nice.
It was where I said they're going to smash this week.
You're talking to Josh Adams?
No, I just thought it was just a spread thing.
Yeah.
I went on last week and I was on NBC Philly. It was like the Saints are going to rout the Eagles. Take the Saints against the spread, and just people were Philly fans very upset, very upset.
As a Philly fan, I would have 100% agreed with you.
His question is, oh, it's a Sunday question. I'm sorry you're such a big fan, but you're now banned for life. Howard or Josh Adams?
I already answered that one. It's Adams.
I like Howard more. Yeah. Which 2 are Carr or Kirkwood? Austin Carr. I'll take Kirkwood.
I'm going to take Kirkwood too.
Let's see. Flex standard scoring, Sanu or Chris Carson? I'll take Chris Carson in that.
Yeah, I'll take Chris Carson there as well.
Are Cohen and Sanu the smash plays today? I'd say Cohen and Ridley are the smash plays today.
Yep.
Cohen or Edelman? I'd actually take Edelman.
I like Edelman too.
I like
Love
Edelman
that spot for him.
Allen Robinson or Doug Baldwin? I'll take Doug Baldwin.
Yep, Doug Baldwin.
Josh Hill, Michael Roberts, or Blake Jarwin?
Here we go. Hill?
Get the piece of the high-scoring game. I hate it, but
yeah,
yeah,
not a fan either.
Oh, this one, triple stack: Maurice Harris, Josh Doxson, and Jordan Reed. That sounds like a losing lineup.
Oh wow! See, I'd rather go. Trey Quinn than Harris.
Me too.
But I don't hate it.
Which 2 are better in DraftKings? Trey Burton and Bears D, or Jordan Reed and Saints D? I'd probably take Burton and Bears D.
I like the Reed and Saints.
I kind of like the Reed and Saints now that I think about it.
Yeah, I like it.
Okay. DJ Moore, Trey Quinn, standard. I'll take DJ Moore.
I agree.
Just here to get banned for life. You got it. Banned for life. Ingram or Kamara, banned for life. Can't wait to get the
It's
actual...
amazing that that's actually a question, but...
Well, you love Mark Ingram.
I do like Mark Ingram. We've been around each other for 3 years, and you know that I've actually been a pretty big Ingram supporter.
Cohen, Howard, and the Gus bus. Pick 2. I'll pick Cohen and Gus.
Yeah, same.
Dak or Lamar Jackson? I'd play Lamar Jackson.
Yeah. You're going to go with Lamar, yeah.
Standard scoring. AP or Gus Edwards? That's a real conversation.
I'm going to go with Gus.
I'm going to take AP one more time.
Yeah.
Based on ownership, y'all think it's better to avoid Riddick? I do.
I would agree with that too.
Pay up for running backs or wide receivers in Thanksgiving only? I think you can differentiate. I like the Zeke and Julio if that's the way you're going to go. Now, I'm using Ridley, so I'm not using Julio, but if you wanted to pay up, I think that Julio is going to be the lowest owned of all those guys.
Yeah.
And ownership matters so much on these short slates.
It really does.
But I like Zeke the best of those top 4 guys, so pay up for running backs, I guess.
Yep.
Would you pick up Trey Quinn off waivers? Sure. Would you pick up Trey Quan off waivers? Sure. Go for it, man.
Yeah, I mean, 18 team.
Ban me! You got it. Cooper or Coleman? I'll take Coleman.
Yeah, I'll take. No, I'm going to take Cooper. I'm going to take Cooper.
Let's see here. We got time for like 3 more questions. Traded for DJ on the cheap halfway through the season. Okay, well, that is a question. That is nothing.
Yeah, thanks.
Edelman, Hilton, or Cohen for the flex?
Oh, wow. I think you got to go Hilton. Oh, I really like Edelman.
I like all 3 of those guys.
Oh, man. If it's a full point PPR, I'll go Edelman. If it was a standard, I go Hilton.
Okay. I'm going to see if there's any like Twitter questions that we can get to because we are streaming live on the Twitter. Every time we go live, we'll be streaming live on Twitter now.
Jets have been brutal against just slot wideouts.
Yeah, and he always lights them up. Burton or Reed better today? Jordan Reed will be better. I prefer Burton, though, on DraftKings.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have a real high ownership with Reed, but I like him a lot today.
Chase Daniel or Jordan Howard as Showdown? I'll take Daniels.
Yeah, I'm taking the same. I'm going to Chase.
Higher ownership, Daniel or Colt McCoy? I think Daniel will have more ownership.
I think McCoy will.
Okay. Riddick, DJ Moore, or Ellington, half-point PPR?
Riddick, DJ Moore, or Ellington? Ah, man. Riddick?
In half-point? I'll take DJ Moore.
There's a higher ceiling with him, yeah.
Yeah. Which Dallas tight end has the biggest upside with Swaim out? I'll say Jarwin.
I mean...
The internet loves Uncle Rico, but if his name wasn't Rico Gathers, people wouldn't like him.
Yeah.
He doesn't do anything.
No, he does nothing. Yeah.
Reed, DJ, Landry, MVS, Sutton, or Josh Adams? I'm going to take David Johnson.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
that's not even a question. You can only pick one of those guys?
Guess so.
Wow. And then Reed to follow.
Or he only needs one, though.
I guess you're just playing DJ, man, all day.
AP in Detroit D or Theo in Dallas D? I'll take AP. If you compare him with the Skins D, that's better, but I'll take Detroit D along with him.
Yeah, I'll lean that way, too. I'm with you. I like Washington and AP. I think it's a nice combo.
All right, last one
All right.
of the day. Please hit the like button on the way out. And the actual Sunday Slate DraftKings show coming out at 1 p.m. And we got the spread show. There's a whole bunch of shows if you need to kill time. So this one, and I'm going to let him get away with this one.
Oh.
I mean, he's going to get banned. He asked nicely about it. He said, you can ban me if you want. And I will ban you. Jim, I'm definitely going to ban you. But please, like the show before you get banned for life. Also, you're not really banned for life. You're banned for the end of this episode.
Yeah, you're fine.
Yeah, you're fine. You come back
You'll
next
be
week
able
and
to
get
come
banned
back.
again.
Yeah.
But there are the spread shows out, the ranking shows out, the DraftKings Sunday main slate show. I have a Tiger and Phil show out. I have 4 shows out, and there's going to be shows coming out tomorrow and on Saturday. You need content, you come to the PME. And if you need questions answered and to be banned for life, you come here too. Jim says, I traded Mark Ingram for Aaron Jones right before the deadline. Talk about it first, then you can ban me.
I don't hate that move. I mean, he's guaranteed more touches.
I love it. Get rid of Mark Ingram.
Yeah.
Now your team is hex-free. That's perfect.
Yeah, Aaron Jones is in a tough spot this week, but he's trending up, and he's catching balls out of the backfield. Each week, it's been more catches from him. I think maybe 6 last week.
He's playing like 70% of the snaps now.
He's guaranteed more touches than Mark Ingram. Good trade.
Now, banned for life. That'll do it on the Pat Mayo Experience Thanksgiving edition. Chris Meaney. Follow him on Twitter at Chris Meaney. Where can everyone find your work? At The Athletic.
That's right. At The Athletic. Hockey, basketball, and all the football stuff. At
And Fantrax.
At Fantrax, yeah.
And you're on Sealy's Pod.
And
every
on
week.
Sealy's Pod. All in sports. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So it'll be...
You're on 3 times a week?
Yeah, unsealed. We ditched Jake on Friday, and it's just Joe and I. It's a good time.
Kicked him to the curb.
Yeah.
Jake, we're taking over your podcast,
Yeah.
pal. Take a hike.
Go rake some breath mints. We'll be fine.
Like the show on the way out, like I mentioned, there's all those other shows you can go back and watch. We tried to make it non-Thanksgiving wise so they last throughout the weekend. I know a lot of you got some drives ahead of you, maybe some flights. Just download the audio podcast. Boom, you're on your way. We made the spread show like 2.5 hours, so you got a lot of time to kill. Some good heated debates, a few laughs, best holiday rankings from Cuss, which are just insane because he put Earth Day on it. It was in dead last, but he still had Earth Day on it. Either way, thank you all for watching. Smash the like on the way out. Download the audio podcast, please. We're trying to get to 10 million downloads and listens for the year. And other than that, enjoy Thanksgiving. Enjoy the games. Have some fun. Someone go win a bunch of money, all right? I'm Pat Mayo. Good luck. I'll see you next time.